And we are cooking. And now we're cooking. I won't touch this anymore. Thrive Podcast, episode 17, I believe, is the episode. I'm going to pull up our questions here from you guys so I can get to those eventually. And there's no questions here from you guys. So if you didn't know, in our Discord, oh, just kidding. They all popped up. All right. There's a bunch of questions. Okay. I'll answer them in a minute. But in our Discord, I have a thread in the Discord that is Q&A for this very podcast. You can answer, or you can ask questions. Only I have the answers in this world. So, yeah, it's been another full week. Well, I guess my last podcast wasn't an entire week of freelancing, but I have now freelanced for a week. And what I did was, since I've got my own video schedule that I imposed on myself to upload Saturday, basically I worked Saturday, but I had to, follow all this self-care advice that I've heard. But I just took a break completely Sunday, stepped away from everything. And if you've been following the habit tracking videos in particular, editing has been very much the most done thing that I've done. And I would have kept doing it if, especially now, since there's no really reason not to do the work when it's like, oh, I've got these videos I could be making for people to finish and get paid, So I definitely take, hearing the advice from, and I mentioned this last week, but like hearing the types of advice from guys like Matt Diavella and other just, YouTube freelancers that, I guess freelanced at one point, but just the whole burnout aspect, I can see why it happens now, because it's like I just work until I get tired every day and finish stuff basically. And I still I'm really enjoying the fact that it's my choice to do that, that if I'm working on something for a few hours in a row and I'm not done or anything, I can just set it down and take a break. Like I did that today. I put 2 hours in on a project. I was like, man, this is exhausting. I ate lunch. I took my time. I iced my knee. Then I went back in for another round of lunch and then rested a bit more and then went back to the project. And that's the kind of thing that's super cool about it. I'm really enjoying scheduling my own time, using Google Calendar, sliding the little blocks around, moving around my schedule. Google Calendar I found really productive as a way to manage my time, having been in the position now that I am managing my own time completely, and not going to the job and stuff. It's cool because I can, basically I'm never really scheduling anything more than a week in advance, because it's pretty day to day, the work itself, just because the clients I'm serving are YouTubers, so they make videos on a weekly basis. Some are more scheduled than others. Some of the jobs that I'm doing are more not just editing, just research and search engine optimization and channel building focused. Some of the work. So it's interesting. Not really having too much of a, the schedule is pretty not defined at all, but at the same time it feels like, this isn't interesting. So the schedule isn't really defined at all. I'm in complete control of it, so I can fully define it, and because it's so kind of fluid, it's I'll do this when I want to do this and that when I want to do that. Google Calendar is really useful because you can just click and drag around the events and stuff that you've made, color coding them, which projects are for clients, which time is for appointments, what's calls, what's my own personal videos. Has been pretty cool. Let's get into your questions. This question, here we go. From Trav, how do you decide what topics to focus on and what format to use? So lately I've been creating under the format of like my content schedule is I will release a basketball card video in the beginning of the week, my podcast on Thursday, and Moving to California series on Saturday. And that's it. Like, that's what I use to decide what topics I want to focus on. I just know that, I've built some momentum in the basketball card space, right? So I definitely want to, I didn't just triple down on only basketball card stuff because I want this to, like, the channel is named my name. It's just me, but I definitely do. It's something I'm really interested in. And because so much of my audience is also really interested in, I dedicate some of our programming, right, to that specifically. And then podcast is podcast. It's just something I want to build, something I want to get better at, just like talking to myself, like putting out my thoughts, forming them into sentences coherently. That's honestly, since I've started doing the podcast, that's helped me. And also just filming myself and talking in general for a long period of time, like to nobody, to the camera, has helped me be better at that, at exactly that, which was the whole point of why I wanted to start the podcast. For one, it's like there's no excuse not to do it since there's nobody else involved. And if it ever makes money, more money for your boy. And so how to decide what topics to focus on. And then for the moving to California, what topics to focus on. I kind of talked about this in the first episode of that series, just the idea of creating under, like, sometimes, having some brackets to work within makes it easier than just having to pull an idea out of my ass every day or every week. So I can use kind of that. I can look at things I want to make videos about through that lens and see how the topics I want to talk about apply to that specific situation. I keep using the example, and this might be the video I make this week, of like, I want to tell the story of how I learned to shoot a basketball really well. And like when you break it down, it's just like, daily practice and a plan, this, then this, then this, scheduled out on this day to do this day to do this, do it every day, and you get better. And like, that's an idea that I can take and apply to what it's going to take for me to, build a business and have an income and be able to move to California, So stuff like that is how I decide what topics to focus on. We got a couple of questions. Trav submitted a few, so I'll go to the Victoria's question next. How do you make yourself stand out on YouTube when there are so many other content creators? Man, that's tough to answer because I feel like I'm not even doing that, But at the same time, I do definitely feel like I'm doing that. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I would say definitely before all the birds cawing and stuff distracted me. How do you make yourself stand out on YouTube when there are so many other content creators? Man, it's do I stand out? I don't even know. Definitely is putting in the reps. Like, just putting in the reps is a big part of it. Making a ton of videos. I've made over 100 videos on this channel, probably more, over 120 at this point. And like, you can go back and watch them. I keep them up there on purpose. Like, my first 50 videos didn't stand out, It took just making videos consistently. And this is the advice you hear, so I'm sorry about that, but like, just making videos consistently gives you, like, when you're at bat more times, you will hit the ball more times, than if it's just a volume thing. Eventually you'll find what sticks. You'll kind of lean into that. Eventually you'll find what you're best at, and you'll lean into that. So you'll improve. So the answer is, like, get better at kind of finding your own voice, which was like the first kind of thing that I really was like trying to do. That was the only thing I was trying to do. I was like, I want to portray myself on camera. I want to act on camera like I act in real life. Like, what it's like to hang out with me should be how I appear on videos. Because, I have friends. I'm enjoyable to be around, I like to think, So, and I would have cool conversations and stuff like that I'd get really passionate about with my friends. And so then that plants the idea. It's like, okay, this is an idea that's at least I am passionate about, and I'm sharing this idea with my close friends who are also passionate about it. So there's probably other people that think that same thought. And if I'm someone who's able to accurately put out on a platform how it's like to actually hang out with me, then I might be able to make that message land and get other people and like connect with other people. And I think that's one of the most important things about standing out. Again, it feels weird to like give this advice as someone with 1,500 subscribers, but yeah, that's I think the most important thing, finding your voice, and you do that through consistency and deadlines, basically. And kind of the thing I was saying earlier to the other question, kind of, thinking of like your show that you're obligating yourself to make every week, is kind of like the deadline that can push you, or like the space that you are gonna have to create within on a regular basis, rather than just like randomly coming up with stuff. You'll see that again, if you look back at my old videos, I don't advise this, they're bad, but I had a weekly video series called Thrive Thursday, where it was just like I would just say my idea that I was passionate about that week, and that was kind of the same. That was kind of the root of, that kind of came from, those just passionate conversations with my friends, like late night stoned, like talking about, this is the best way to organize your Spotify, or you should drink, like, I have this water bottle, what's yours like? Mine, I like this one because of that, like, just that kind of shit, but it was like, that was my show, right? Every week I had to make a Thrive Thursday video about some idea that I was passionate about, but it wasn't really too defined, right? Because it was just like, that's kind of, I was telling this story on a podcast, just the like Thrive idea in general was just, I just kind of came up with it because it was so general, and it's like, oh, that means anything the idea is like thrive, like stuff that makes your life better, decide to make your life better, be trying to make your life better, so that you can thrive, right? But so then it just means that anything that I want to talk about, because I'm talking about it, I think it makes my life better, right? So if it falls under the umbrella of anything I want to talk about, then it falls under the umbrella of thrive, right? So I can just talk about anything. So I definitely, so that's definitely how you make yourself stand out. Second question, how do you decide what kind of type of content to create? I kind of answered that. Like I decide based on, like, so I decided to make basketball card content. So that's something I decided, because I saw that it stuck from making all the videos, right? And then the moved in California stuff, I decided, I kind of answered that already. It's just like some idea that I'm passionate about that moves the needle in my life towards that happening is, I don't know. Yeah, like how I decided that. How do I know if my content has performed well? When you upload YouTube videos, in the content dashboard, it will show you how that video ranked in the top 10 of the previous 10 videos for the time that it's been up. So if I uploaded a video 24 hours ago, it'll show the last 10 videos first 24 hours, and it ranks it among those. So I know a video has done well if it's like, if every few hours or days I refresh the video dashboard, a video is like top 5 of my last 10. So, but then at the same time, a lot of the videos that do the best, just because they've been up longer, have more views, and they won't show up in that like current top 10 ranking thing. But at the same time as well, I try to distance myself from, being emotionally attached to whether or not it does well at all in terms of views, like my second episode of the Moving to California series that I put up last week didn't nearly do as well as the first, obviously because I titled the first one, I quit my job, and like the first seconds of the video was me quitting my job. So I could see why it got more clicks among just, anybody that is subscribed to me or sees that and knows me at all, would maybe click that. But like I found it even more and so the second one didn't get as many views, right? But to me, it was just as satisfying to make, because the whole idea of that collection of videos is that there will be a bunch of videos starting with me starting it and ending with me doing it, and it's satisfying to add a video, like to put a drop in the bucket towards what will be all of those videos at the end, so it's so I guess I know if my content has performed well, if it gets a lot of watch time, likes, views, and comments, because that's how content on YouTube does well. But to be like fulfilling and satisfying to post is a different thing. It's like I probably won't post a video if I wasn't satisfied by it. I mean, I might, but usually I am. That's why I do it. Victorious asks, do you think you'll stick with sports cards your whole life, or is it here and now type of thing? I think it's definitely something I like. That's why I keep doing it, but I don't know. I'm going to keep doing it while I keep liking it. And then that's with anything on my channel, if it kind of falls out of my sphere of interest, then I will stop, doing stuff about it. But I say that now, when who knows, maybe I eventually like that's what makes me money and the only way I can keep doing it. But I mean, that's the whole point of why I'm not making only that content right now anyway, because I'm just building the audience around me, because that's what I want to do, But I mean, I see no reason to stop doing sports card stuff. I like it. Dude, especially when sports come back. Oh, I'm going to talk up. I cannot wait to talk about basketball and watch basketball and talk about it with all you guys that like basketball. Like, that is really cool to me, that I've made this group of people that really likes this cool thing that I really like. There's so many people that really like basketball. So, yeah, I'll keep talking about it. What do you need to know about a project before you start? I'm assuming this is about like freelance projects. Basically now it's like, am I going to be making like more than the clients I've got? Because I don't want to really take a step down at all unless it's easier work. So I'm technically like making more for less work. So then like either an established channel that has a schedule and a formula that they can just plug me into is something I want to look for, or someone that really just wants me to, and this is the case for one of my clients, just like wants me to take the reins almost completely and trusts me with like the foundational topics and search engine and like tips for the YouTube channel in general and building it from the ground up. So basically someone that clearly understands what I provide, trusts me with providing it completely, and pays what I ask, which is I'm almost doubling my rate just every time I get an inquiry. So I'm around like $50 an hour right now is the lowest I would take something for. Yeah. And yeah, that is how I know a project before I start. And like, if the person's a clear communicator, like it's clear to me what they want from what they want me to do for the project. And it's clear, and if it's also clear to me that I can provide that at a high quality, What's my favorite color? I like purple a lot. I like wearing black, as you can see. Purple, like the dark colors. I don't know. Like when I was a kid, red was my favorite color, and I kind of held on to that for a long time. Like, I identified as someone that likes red, that's like something that kids do, right? It's like, no, bro, like red is my favorite color. But yeah, when I was older, I started to like purple more. And I guess I don't really think about it too much, but yeah, we'll go with purple. But like black or gray to wear. Important distinction. Is it that an important distinction? I don't know. What am I reading right now? I'm not really reading much at all. What content management systems have you used? I don't really know what that means, content management. I don't do any type of like pre-uploading or like stuff that posts for you. I don't really do any of that. In terms of my email, I manage that pretty strictly. My business email, I've got a personal one that's got, fucking 20,000 things in the inbox, but I sort my business email into, and I guess this isn't content management at all, but it's something that I manage. So that's why I'm talking about it. I do the whole inbox zero thing. I sort stuff into like clients folders, business receipts, travel plans. I organize that, all that. There was a Matt DiVella video that showed how to organize your email that I basically followed to a T. And then my content, weekly schedule. I talked about the basketball card videos. I will, in terms of management, I'll batch shoot those. So right now I've got like 2 more basketball card videos that I can post that I just have to edit. Those are more, I want to release kind of foundational stuff that's not so topical when it comes to that. Even though the last 2 videos I posted are topical about basketball cards. But, I want to, that's why I don't really make like top 5 cards to buy right now type videos, just because, in a month it'll be useless and there's no reason to watch that video. So I want to try to stay away from stuff like that. Those are all the questions. Cool. Thank you, Trav and Victorious, basically for populating the the whole like meat of this podcast. What else can we talk about? Today's my little brother's birthday. He's 11, and I've resolved to stop calling them my little brother. I have 2 younger brothers, and I will no longer call them little brothers because they are, fully humans who have opinions and can articulate with their personality, and they're just my brothers, and they are younger than me. So that is what they'll be referred to as now. And my brother whose birthday it is today, his name is Michael. Fortnite is his favorite thing. I've never seen him like anything more than Fortnite. So it's fun to play with him, talk with him about Fortnite. It's interesting because my parents totally like don't get it, like joke about how much he likes it, so it's like I can relate to him so much more on that front, like he tells me stuff he doesn't tell the parents, especially when it's related to that. Like we talk about it, and hopefully that's not too windy for you, but yeah. Fortnite's fun. My little brother likes it, and I love my little brother. He's cool. My brother, excuse me. That's not the brother. So I uploaded a habits video the other day, and that is my younger brother who's in that video. His name's Johnny, and I have a younger sister named Audrey as well. And all my siblings. I have 2 older siblings as well, older half sisters that are in there almost. I honestly don't know. One is over 30. They're probably both over 30. If one of them is younger than 30, they'd be mad at me for saying that. They don't watch this, though, or at least I don't give a shit if they watch it. But that's more about me. If you're listening to this point in the podcast, why do you listen to this podcast? I'd be interested. It'll help me make the podcast better. Wow, birds are going like crazy. There are a lot of birds around in this part of the world. Temperate climate, not really too cold, too hot all year. It's July. It's July 2nd right now. And just to give you a weather update, weather is kind of, okay, all right. I'll give you the update first, then I'll talk about talking about weather. So it's like mid 60s right now. Maybe it cracks 70 every once in a while. And it's the middle of July. Like this is the coast, on the coast in the Pacific Northwest, the west coast of the United States of America. If you don't live here, Oregon is where I live. And it doesn't ever really get hot, but it doesn't also ever really get cold either. But the idea of like talking about the weather is, I think people do it because, so especially with strangers, right? You need to like establish common ground quickly, establish that I don't know, like that ease the tension, right, of a new person. And I try not to talk about the weather with people because it's just it's always happening. Of course, we all experience it, and it does a few things. It rains, it snows, it's cold, it's warm, and that's about it. There's got to be something more interesting about the situation and the people you're with. Ooh, windy as fuck here too in the summer. Jesus. Yeah, weather is just like a boring thing to talk about because it's like it's always here, it's always happening. It will never not be like you can always talk about. There's got to be something more interesting to talk about than the weather. But yet we do it. I do it. Of course, I do it. I do talk about the weather sometimes, especially when like I don't like. I like the weather here. You know, it doesn't snow. It doesn't snow. It doesn't. I mean, it rains, but it's never like really, really cold. Here I am talking about the weather. Isn't it hilarious? Yeah. It's nice weather right now. Good. Okay. We are having some steak for my brother's birthday. Steak and cinnamon rolls. He doesn't really have very diverse of a diet, but there's steak waiting for me at home. And yeah, I'm gonna end the podcast. Take it easy, guys. Appreciate you watching. Strive to thrive. Get a free sticker in the description. Join the Discord to ask more questions that will shape this show. And I will see you Saturday for the Moving to California series that I have yet to film and edit. And that's the next thing I'm going to do. See you guys. Thanks for watching.